You're live. I am live.
All right, folks, we are live. Welcome to Cinemana.
Yes, we're live and alive.
And we are alive.
You got
Yes.
this nice little cloth here. It's
Yeah,
not all.
I'm gonna move this
fucking,
down. There we go.
It's not all ghetto anymore.
Yeah, it's not ghetto.
I hope
It's nice
I
and
hope
clean.
these are working because last time we were like just talking into them and they weren't working at all. So
yeah,
we were just,
yeah, and it was just the computer's
Oh, yeah.
microphone audio.
Like
So
jackasses.
apologies if the audio was shit. It should sound much better today.
Oh,
We
yeah.
actually took the time to go through and do some technical troubleshooting. But yeah, we're ready to go, man. So we've got some stuff to talk about. Yeah, I didn't. I mean, I watched a couple things. We both watched a couple different things, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna kind of wing it a little bit because it's not so structured. But we've got a couple things to talk about. A lot of stuff in the last 2 weeks.
Lots of stuff's going on. A lot of
Right.
releases at the same time. A lot
of announcements.
Big releases.
Right.
Excuse me. Big announcements. Just big one last night.
Yeah, that's right.
Morning.
That's right. And this morning,
with,
which
with
is awesome.
Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. So let's jump right into it. So industry news.
Industry news.
That's right. So the Deadpool announcement. So what are your thoughts on this, man? Because I saw it.
Well, we gotta
immediately.
let them know if they don't know what's going on. So
Right.
Ryan Reynolds, who plays Deadpool, did a little video update, which he's done a few times with when they did Korg with him and stuff.
That's
like
right.
that.
In a very Ryan Reynolds type of way.
Yeah, it's very meta, and he's basically just making a joke about how he doesn't have anything plot wise, and you see Hugh Jackman in his house. And he's like, "Hey, what do you think?"
Yeah, he's just kind of walking around,
eating like chips in his house. He's
right,
like he's living there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. This is very casual kind of thing. Like, oh, hey, this guy back here.
Like, hey, Hugh, we want to play Wolverine one more time. He's like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Which is cool because we all thought he would never play him again. Which is, come on. I mean, really, come on.
Yeah, they're not ready. Well, this is my thing, man. Even when they killed off the character, I knew that he was going to come back. They're not ready to let Hugh Jackman go as Wolverine. He's just that guy, man. We're not ready to move on.
Right.
So I mean, they have to find a pretty good replacement for him, but not yet. So but they did it in a smart way because they explained. Then this is the cool thing about the announcement. They actually explained it to people, to novices that might be a little bit confused, like how are they going to bring Wolverine back if he died?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, dummy, Logan takes place far into the future.
Yeah, but also with the whole multiverse thing too, you could just make anything.
You can, and
that's bend the rules so.
That's
easily.
the golden ticket.
Yeah,
that's MCU's golden ticket now because they've done this multiverse thing. So it's like we could do whatever we want.
Like,
let's bring Tobey Maguire back in.
You can't do that. It's like, well, multiverse.
That's the golden ticket, man. That'll
can
get
do
you
whatever I want.
Yeah, that'll get you anywhere. So yeah. So that's interesting, and I actually think that's pretty cool because Deadpool and Wolverine have a legit history in the comics, man. It makes sense. X-Force and all of that stuff going back to canon for those nerds. But I think it's great. I think it would be fantastic. It's about time. They both have awesome healing. Those healing powers that they have. Deadpool has much better healing powers than Wolverine.
Yeah, but they're still pretty great either way.
Both of them are fucking
they're basically unkillable, both of them. So
well, I mean, Deadpool's pretty much immortal.
Yeah.
So yeah, he can grow back the rest of his body. So but yeah,
there's like ranges like we've seen in comics. I haven't not brushed up on it, but there's been depictions differently of the range of how Spider-Man's power of strength is portrayed of really intense versus maybe not so much. So where he's lifted whole buildings and then another portrayal.
It depends on the writer. It depends on the.
So I think Wolverine's been decimated down to his brain basically, and I think that's probably one of the most egregious.
Right. Yeah.
But they're basically very similar in terms of power wise.
They are very similar.
Wolverine's bone claws or the adamantium skeleton that he has later.
Right, like Wolverine can't grow back a hand.
Right. Yeah.
He doesn't
exactly.
But Deadpool can.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, there's the difference. But in any case, they do have a very long history.
Yeah.
And it's about time that they do them right this time.
Yeah.
because they didn't do it right last time.
No.
You know, the first depiction of Deadpool, that was a fucking shit show.
The Merc with a mouth without a mouth.
Oh, Jesus. Without a mouth. That was awful. But yeah, I'm excited for it. They both seem to be excited for it, and it seems like they're in control. They're in creative control because obviously they're both going to be executive producers on this thing.
Well, good, because it also seems like maybe this might have been a a setup long in the running, because ever since maybe even before, but Ryan Reynolds has always had this like fake feud with Hugh Jackman.
It's not fake.
No, they're good friends in real life, but they come on, they play this shit up for fucking.
No, it's a serious feud. I mean, it's not a maleficent like kind of a feud. Like it's not nothing bad, but it's like friends giving each other shit,
right?
Consistently,
like,
all
like
the time.
Plan the entire time, like, hey, we'll do this, and eventually we'll hit him with a fucking Wolverine Deadpool movie, and they'll shit.
I think they've been planning for it. You know what? It's smart of. I think that's Ryan Reynolds planning it, because throughout the 2 Deadpool movies, it's always been like little jabs at Hugh Jackman or Wolverine. Either of them.
Well, it's that thing. It's like both the actors in real life have this thing going on.
Yeah, and it comes out in the movies.
And then the characters, they do too.
So exactly.
It's gonna, and with how dear both of these characters are to those actors, I think it's gonna be in good hands.
Yeah.
And like, I remember at the end of the announcement, they're like, "Thank you, Kevin Feige."
Yeah. Oh, actually, the announcement is great because they go into this whole big spiel.
It's like,
and then they put this music on, which is it's George Michael.
Yeah.
It's "Wake Me Up
Before You Go."
Yeah.
By Wham.
It's by Wham, which is hilarious. And I was like, oh man, like that's totally Ryan Reynolds style. And they go in and like, let's explain how this is actually happening. And then they put the freaking music on, and that's great.
That's crazy. Like, time's been going fast though, dude. Like, I feel like Logan was just a few years ago, but it was 5 years ago.
It was 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's half a decade.
Yeah, so. It was legit. And it was like one of the first comic movies that actually made me choke up, man. It made me like, man, I was really sad.
Yeah,
you know, because it was like, it's a comic book movie, but it was also a pretty damn good drama. Like, you got invested into these characters.
It was like the the end of an era, the changeover of a new generation. And stuff.
It was handing off. It was just like,
which we haven't seen now because of all the changeovers.
It was
all the changeovers in the media. So
that's true. At the time,
we might not get the new X kids.
I don't know. Maybe we'll see. But that's a whole nother discussion. But at the time, Logan was like this. Essentially, he was retiring the character, so it was a big deal.
Yeah,
I remember when.
I wonder how they're going to do it this time, because he's getting older, man. You know,
he is getting older.
But like, we'll see. Maybe they'll do a combination of makeup and de-aging or something, and make him a little. Maybe they'll make him even older, man, Logan, or something.
No, man, it's just
Or maybe they'll throw him in the suit. The classic suit.
Oh, we saw it. That would be awesome.
Which one? What did we see it in? It was
I forget.
Was it
one of those deleted?
The Wolverine. It was one where he's in Japan, and then at
the Wolverine.
At the end of the movie,
that was the Wolverine.
At the end of the movie,
it was a deleted
she
thing.
has a box for him. Right. It has the fucking suit.
The old school suit with the ears. Yeah, that's awesome. Been dying to see that, but no, they haven't done it yet. I don't know. Maybe in Deadpool. Who knows?
Yeah.
A little fan service that wouldn't hurt.
No.
All right.
Next.
So what do you got?
That's basically it. Like,
that's what you got.
I can't think of much news wise.
Okay.
Maybe I'm just hitting a blank. I know there's so much shit coming out right now, dude. It's crazy. It's
well, we're going into the holiday season, so there is some stuff lined up. I've got a couple things here.
You got some more.
So I've got the Blade reboot.
Mahershala,
that's right.
Mahershala
Ali. Yeah, I keep messing up his name. Forgive me, man. But yes, he great casting. I can't wait to see him as Blade. They're gonna bring him into the actual MCU, which is awesome because he does have a hand in the Avengers and a bunch of other stuff. He's he has a close relationship with Moon Knight, which was a great series, by the way, with Oscar Isaac,
which got up for season 2.
Yes. which is awesome.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, I recommend you watch it. It is fucking great.
Yeah,
It
I
is.
love it. Yeah.
It is like a Fight Club. It's like a superhero Fight Club.
Yeah, it is kind of like that.
Right,
Yeah.
because he has the split personality thing, and he has these superpowers. I actually enjoyed the entire series, but yeah, Blade is closely related with Moon Knight. They usually cross paths, but in any case, the Blade reboot has encountered some issues. They just lost their director,
Oh no.
Bassam Tariq.
No.
Just a couple months before they were about to film, due to, of course, creative differences.
Of course. Yeah.
That's usually that. I mean,
code speak for fired.
Yeah, pretty much. That's usually the case. That's when the creative people, the director or producer, kind of bump heads with the studios, and they just can't agree.
The money always rules.
Yeah, pretty much. It's when the executives say, "All right, we're just gonna put you over here."
It'll be cheaper to replace you,
right? Yeah. Oh, you won't do what we say. Okay, let's just put you over here. So, but honestly, it has been a frustrating thing because internal reports say that, let's see. First off, it is a very short script. So the script is only about 90 pages right now.
That's not even. That's like an hour and a half.
Right.
Yeah.
So which sucks. Yeah. So it's a very short script, very little action. There's only 2 action scenes, and it's lackluster. Okay. And Mahershala, I keep messing up his name. Mahershala Ali. It's right there, man, but I keep messing it up.
You have it in like
Mahershala Ali is unhappy after reading the script multiple times. And not only that, to add insult to injury, Kevin Feige is way too busy, is spread thin with a bunch of other projects that he's juggling, so he cannot even put his attention on trying to fix this issue. So they just said
the Blade movie, right?
This is the Blade movie. So
they don't have a new director yet.
They do not, and this is months before they were planning on shooting. They're hitting all these. They're hitting all these. They're hitting all these issues, which really sucks, man. It's a bad sign. It seems like they're going to be severely delayed. Seems like there's going to be some script rewrites. They got to find another director now. Yeah, man, I'd say probably another year.
A year on top of the current release.
Another year on top of the current release. A year, maybe a year or two.
That's gonna suck because all these movies, they tie in so intimately that when one gets delayed, it fucks up everything else for the other movies.
Right.
And then they have to change those stories to fit in. Like if they want to release those, say this movie ties into all the Kang shit going on, right?
Right.
Either they decide to rewrite the story so it comes out at the same time.
Yeah.
For like the King, like that, whatever this movie ties into.
Right. They have to shoehorn
or they delay that one too. So it could cause delays and rewrites in other films.
Right. Because who knows what Blade was going to introduce. Like the Blade movie could have been introducing
each movie like sets up something else for the next ones now.
Correct.
They're so interconnected.
Correct.
We don't even wait for the post credits scene for that. It happens in the movies now.
Right, it happens in the movies now. So that's the thing. So it sucks. It seems like they hit a big hurdle. So yeah, big ass delay, and it doesn't seem pretty certain right now. So yeah.
Aaron says Hocus Pocus 2 is going to be lit.
I say no. We were talking about that right before we went live.
2, baby.
No, fuck that. Who wants to see Hocus? I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure there's people out there, but we were literally just talking about this before we went live. And no, Aaron, no. Hocus Pocus 2. No, man. Who's asking for this? Who is? I mean, no, I'm sorry. I can't. But that leads as a segue. Speaking of, spooky stuff, Wednesday, the Wednesday movie.
Yeah,
Wednesday, an Addams Family story. So that's going to be coming out in late November.
Everything's a story now. It's like a Star Wars story,
right?
A Game of Thrones story,
Addams Family story.
Addams Family story.
That's how they do things now. So, but yeah, this is going to focus on Wednesday.
Keep
of course.
Up with the Joneses.
Yeah, and who's this? This nice, beautiful actress. What's her name again?
Ortega, something like Jenna Ortega.
Yeah, Jenna Ortega. That's right.
Jenna? I'm just guessing.
No, you got it.
Oh,
you got it. Jenna Ortega, man. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, Jenna Ortega, brand new actress. She's done a couple of indie films. But yeah, she looks great as Wednesday Addams, and Tim Burton himself is directing 8 episodes of this, and this is his second try at television. He really hasn't flexed his television muscles. The last previously before he's done this, what is it that he's done? There was this one called Stain Boy, which is very interesting. I invite you to look this up.
Tim Burton, what you think?
It's it is what you think. Tim Burton has really never done television except for this instance. So he's doing 8 episodes of Wednesday Addams. And before that, he did this thing called Stain Boy, and it's animated and it looks very, very fucking interesting. I've never seen this, but it looks pretty cool. But in any case, yeah. So the Wednesday Addams series that's coming out. And there's a lot of bullshit. There's a lot of this, the toxic fanboys are starting to come out of the woodwork yet again. And they're being racist about the Addams Family casting, which happens to be Latino, Latinx, or Hispanic. And I think that's just freaking ridiculous because, more specifically, Gomez Addams, which is being played by I forgot the guy's name, something Rodriguez. But in any case, look at the last name. It's Gomez.
Right.
So how can you be upset about a Latino actor playing him? In fact, the entire family being played. Like if you look at the original Addams Family movies, Gomez was played by Raul Julia, a well-known thespian actor, Puerto Rican, and he did a fantastic job as Gomez. Actually, that cast was great. The original Addams Family was, fantastic.
Well, this is our third because we had the ones in the 80s and 90s, right? That series that came out.
Oh, so right, the original Addams Family, which was the black and white, 50s. Right? Yeah. There was and they came out around the same times as the Munsters.
Yeah.
I love both of those.
The classic one we think is the second iteration is what we normally think of when we
the one that came out in the 90s, which is the ones that, that's our generation.
80s and 90s, I think.
Right. Yeah. Well, it was the late 90s, but the movies, the Addams Family movies that came out with Raul Julia,
with Christina Ricci as.
That's right. With Christina Ricci. That's right. So I just think it's ridiculous. They need to do their history.
Well, it's just outrage for outrage's sake. It's like like really who like there's this many people who watched the Addams Family and like did that like adamant about it. It's like,
right. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
They didn't watch any of it. They just want to like latch onto something and be mad about.
Right. They just want to be mad about this
thing. They want to be white and right, and
same thing as the Little Mermaid thing. Yeah, which is another thing that just
I saw some comments like
it's ridiculous.
Being redhead is already a minority. It's like, no, it's not.
Oh my goodness.
There's 2 different meanings of minority there.
It doesn't matter. It's a fictional character. Yeah. They can do whatever they want. They could do whatever they want. It doesn't matter, man.
Right. Yeah, we gotta dive into some of the meat here.
Okay, all right, cool. So we spent enough time with that. So we've hit all the important points. All right, so now let's move on to some movie and TV talk. All right, so go ahead. What do you got here?
First?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, all right.
I've done enough talking.
He's done enough talk. He's done. He's over this shit.
Yeah,
Riggs, I'm too over this shit. Okay, so should we do the? Let's do it. Let's do Andor first. I think Andor's a good place to start. What do you think?
I think Andor is great.
Andor is a great place to start. Andor is probably going to be the highest rated Star Wars show for a long time.
You think so?
Oh, absolutely.
More so than The Mandalorian.
Yeah. In terms of production value,
man, those are heavy words. All right.
In terms of production value, writing, story.
No shit.
Yeah, man.
Are you kicking Filoni in the gut right now? What are you doing? What's happening here?
I think
you turncoat.
I'm not a turncoat. I love both shows. Mandalorian and the parts he takes in with Book Boba Fett and all those episodes.
That's right. Yeah.
Big place in my heart, because it's like it pulls at your heartstrings. It's very nostalgic. It's very it's easy to love.
Filoni,
But this
Favreau,
is a
Robert
story that-
Rodriguez.
You get these stories every now and then where you're like, oh, I don't need that. What do I need that for? It's like, I know how it ends already, right? So
Right.
with Andor and Cassian, he's
right. You know where it ends up.
But what this show also is not necessarily about his character. It's about the character of the early rebellion itself, and about these very nuanced decisions and like humanistic aspects of morality that come into play.
That's right.
And it's very realistic in my opinion, and it feels almost like a neo noir type, like on the ground documentary style.
I think it's
like,
true to the day.
Yeah, it's
what's happening.
It's the layman, it's the normal character, it's the normal people, not the big names and all that shit. That's just,
right.
And it's a side you don't see. It's the untold history of what actually happened instead of like the big grandiose aspects.
I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
Like Star Wars was the higher level stuff of what was happening.
It was the headlines.
It was the headlines.
Yeah, and
like the story of the Skywalkers.
Yeah.
And that history and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But this is very much more nuanced. And it's about the rebels. It's about their sacrifice.
The rebellion wouldn't have been there if it was just Luke Skywalker doing Luke Skywalker shit. You need all these people over years of sacrifice and hardship.
Because he wasn't doing this alone.
They take years. Like it was what, almost 20 years by
about
the time.
20 years.
Almost, yeah.
Just about, yeah.
And the rebellion was already fomenting before
even Luke thought
before the Jedi Republic fell. Like Bail Organa was already putting the seeds into play for the rebellion.
That's right.
Because he saw what was going on. So
that's right.
Him and Mon Mothma were already in cahoots and all this stuff. So
yeah,
it takes all that sacrifice and and like it's the sacrifice where it's like, oh yeah, I might lose some of like my day to this. It's like, no, you're not going to even live to see the fruits of your labor type of sacrifice.
That's the type of sacrifice.
Knowing that and still doing it.
That's a big deal, man. That's a very big deal. Yeah, you're right. It's really about the politics, the espionage behind it, which I really love.
Mm-hmm.
The espionage behind it. There's just the human story. The sacrifice, the people that are dying and the shit that goes wrong, and then them trying to find ways, and these little kind of like we can almost make it. This is risky, but we can try and do this, and we can try and do that. And that's really how rebellions are won and progressed, just by these little small footsteps and these little movements of progression, and just kind of handing the baton, like, I'm not gonna make it, but here you go, and you're tossing it to the next person so they can continue on and keep doing it. But yeah, I mean, the rebellion was full blown and going before Luke was even going through puberty.
I mean, Saw Gerrera was already a rebel leader.
Yeah,
in some of the systems against the separatists and stuff in Clone Wars. So he was already leading these types of things.
Right. Luke had to have a rebellion to join. So, but yeah, it's that story, and I am all for it. It's a great human story so far. I like the very small nuances and all that. It starts off it starts off slow, introducing the character, and he gets caught up in this this unfortunate murder situation.
He kills the two
assholes,
corporate mercenary dudes.
Corporate officers.
Well, they're corporate
corporate cops.
Yeah, they're like
which makes sense because I don't know, I kind of see that happening in the future.
Well, it already does happen. Like we hire these corporate defense
that's right
firms to go fight in
that's right
lands.
That is true. Like some some that I know. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Private armies.
Yeah, they already exist.
They do exist.
Yeah, it's a matter of time before they exist here,
right? Or on a larger scale,
our daily lives. Yeah,
right.
But like back to Andor, what I love is I'm not sure why they decided to do it. Maybe it was a budget thing, maybe it was a creative thing, but ditching the volume for this series, I think actually brought Star Wars back to a place in where it needs to be.
100% right.
Which is practical effects, practical sets, practical.
Yeah,
most of it.
Right.
With a little help of CGI along the way and
There,
whatnot.
I
Yeah.
did see. I did point out there's a couple scenes immediately because
Yeah.
I know how to pick these things out. But yeah, there's a couple scenes that are CGI, a typical green screen.
Mhm.
Yeah, I didn't catch anything that had a volume type of a look to
No,
it,
me neither.
and
Yeah.
I don't think that they need it specifically for
Yeah.
this because. And the reason why I say that is because the setting is always changing. I mean, this guy's on the run, obviously, and we're going to see that throughout the series because he's a wanted man, and he's going to be in different locations consistently throughout. So I don't see a particular reason to use a closed set
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
anything like that, yeah, not like the in the Mandalorian or anything
There
like
was
that.
much more room to maneuver on the set, so they can do more walking and movement shots and action shots,
Right.
and it just feels more real when you get like this.
Right.
Because I think that's something that Kenobi and Book of Boba Fett suffered from, was this overuse
of the same settings over and over and over again.
and overuse of the volume itself. It's like you're limiting your set to such a small area,
Right.
and
Yeah.
it feels fake after a while. And
Yeah.
this feels it's nice. It's a change of pace, and it feels more feels less like fantastical and more like gritty and
Yeah.
more realistic
Yeah.
and more on the ground. And
Yeah, you forget. At least for me, I forgot that it was like a Star Wars story.
yeah,
Because like that was just the background.
yeah,
Like that was in the background, and I was more interested in like, what the fuck is gonna happen? Like
Yeah.
they're almost gonna catch him. Like how's he gonna get away now? So yeah,
and then seeing Coruscant again was dope.
seeing Coruscant again in
I
a
like
different way.
exactly. Yeah, I like this shot too when they first come in, and it does a top down bird's eye view of the city.
Right.
And you kind of see like the lower levels and stuff.
Right. Right. Which I want them to get
yeah.
into because that's also interesting.
And
That
speaking
has its own
yeah.
history.
And speaking of Coruscant, like I was telling you, I've been reading Isaac Asimov's Foundation, and that's where they get the whole.
That's where they get
that's
the
where
idea
Coruscant
from.
comes from. Yeah, it's
Really?
the whole giant like capital of the empire.
Right.
And it's just a giant city planet.
Gee, George Lucas. I wonder.
But yeah,
interesting.
It's very cool to see. I was like the DiCaprio thing. I was like,
yeah,
it's
like, wait a minute. Yeah. Oh, that's true. That's true.
I like how they do like label it. They're like, oh yeah, capital of the empire. Like just in case you didn't know.
Yeah, it's a planet city.
Yeah.
But we did. That's the thing. Like in the original Star Wars, it was talked about, but we never saw enough of it. And then in the prequels, 1, 2,
I don't
and
think
3,
it was even seen.
it was never seen.
Or even mentioned.
It was not. It was in the episode 4, 5, and 6.
It got added.
It was never seen
in the special editions of when George added all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
He added like a little fireworks scene of Coruscant at the end of 6.
Oh, I remember.
But that was right before the prequels came out. So I think that was like
I remember that when they
first introduction to Coruscant,
right?
Because you could see the actual Jedi temple in the background. So if you
I remember
in the mid-90s, if you're around then and you're like, oh shit, that's fucking cool. Like
that's true. But they've spoken about it, but it was never something like it wasn't explored up until the original episode 1, 2, and 3, where they actually spent some time there. But it was the Old Republic.
It might have been talked about in some of the books, maybe. But
yeah, it has been. Yeah, that's true. But it's nice to spend some more time.
Yeah, we don't see that enough. We saw it for a little bit in the flashbacks of Kenobi.
Yes,
a little bit, but that was all the volume too, and not like
that is the volume, and it was poorly used.
Yeah,
again,
it's like they made the training room windows the literal shape of the volume.
I hate that shit.
that's badly literally the volume.
Badly fucking you. Yeah, that was it. That was it when they were sparring.
Yeah,
that whole thing.
The little legend.
And it's just like, who are you kidding here? Like, I know this shit. Who are you kidding, man? Yeah. But you know what's funny is that me being in the film industry world, Filoni and Favreau, what they did with the volume, and I'm not too sure if they spearheaded this or if it was the other engineers in the Disney studios that spearheaded this, but it was a domino effect because from what I'm seeing and hearing, there are little mini volumes that are starting to pop up in other studios now because everyone wants to do this. Everyone wants to do
Yeah.
this. Like I am seeing it all over because I'm kind of like, I have colleagues and other people that I'm kind of, tapped into,
Hmm.
and it's a thing now.
Yeah.
It's a thing. I've seen it like on websites now. People are kind of like promoting like, well, we have this brand new studio that's all LEDs now, and they're, it's of course it's not like a $30 million Disney studio,
Yeah.
but they're trying to do like a miniature version
Okay.
for people to come in and like do their commercials and things like that and shit. It's actually it's not bad. It's actually pretty cool. So I'm seeing that pop up more and more. So that's a nice little filmmaker nerd tidbit there.
Okay.
But yeah, I think Andor is dope. I like Cassian. I'm seeing him turn from like this regular guy that's like, on this mission to find a family member, to find a sister,
Yeah.
and he gets caught up in some bullshit because some asshole cops decided to fuck with him one day that he wasn't having it.
Yeah.
So much power to him. And now he's on a run, and that's it's the start of him becoming a rebel. You see how he kind of got roped into this.
Yeah.
Skarsgård is great.
Yeah.
I like the character that he's playing. It was a nice little surprise to see his double identity thing. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it. But yeah,
As the art dealer, as the front. Yeah.
yeah, with
Yeah.
put on a wig, and he has this whole like. I liked when he was in the mirror.
He got in character.
Yeah, he's got into character. He's smiling and all that. Like, let me get ready. I was like, oh, this is actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely different character that he switched from like his like the rebel
Yeah.
leader that he is, and then this
Art dealer.
is it? Yeah, he's an
Which
art
makes
dealer.
sense as like a front because it's large quantities of money are going to be going.
That's right.
out of
And
it.
not only
Yeah.
that, but also he can kind of import,
Yeah.
these cargo or packages or whatever without people kind of snooping around or
Right,
anything.
yeah.
So that is a nice front. So I like this. Andor is awesome. I saw it as a nice espionage suspense thriller, action type of a thing. So I'm all for it, man. That's the genre I like.
I'm up for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Watched. I was excited. Like it's cool. Like right now we have this schedule of shows. It's like Wednesday we get Andor, Thursday we get She-Hulk.
That's right.
Friday we get Rings of Power, which is
Yeah. Well, we can talk about that in a little bit.
Sundays, then we get House of Dragon, which is like
That's right. That's right. That's right. Well, it's the season for it.
Yeah.
It's the season for it. Yeah, like this. Like the television season. The television goes through seasons. Like in the summer, you're gonna get a handful of stuff, but they always prepare for the fall.
Yeah.
They know that because the majority of people stay home. It's cold outside, and summer's over. People are gonna stay indoors, and what are they gonna do indoors? They're gonna watch fucking television.
Makes sense.
So they know all the shows. It's like the fall lineup is the big deal. So that's another nerd, tidbit there.
We're gonna go into the Fantasy Wars in a second. We'll take a quick break and then we'll get back on there.
Yeah, let's do Fantasy Wars. We'll be back in a minute. All right.
the video back up.
Okay, there we go.
Are we back live?
We're back live. Aaron is here. I'm gonna add Aaron to the
I think
stream.
Aaron just has audio though. I don't think he's has video. But
Yo,
Okay, there we go.
we can't hear him though because I don't have any audio.
No, because then we're gonna get some. We're gonna get some feedback.
Some headphones.
Yeah, grab the headphones. Hold on, Aaron. We can't
Okay.
see you, but we can hear you.
all right. I mean, I could turn on the cam, but it's from my fucking phone. So,
All right, there we go. See if you can hear him.
Fucking shit. Here we go. All emails.
All right. Hey.
yo,
I can hear him through the headphones too. So cool. What's
Okay.
up, Aaron?
yeah, what's going on, fellas?
Yo, you're on this.
You're on the air.
You're on the fucking.
You're on the air. In
Dope. No, you guys are talking about Andor.
Yeah,
What I really loved about that is it's not like Disney. You know what I mean? Like, they literally the first scene is him getting into a brothel.
Yeah,
and that's something
awesome.
that Disney hasn't done. So it's a real story.
It's a legit fucking story. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
not-
it's a little R-rated. You know, he's looking for his sister, and his sister's obviously
Yeah.
or doing some dirty
Well,
stuff.
yeah, she is a woman of the night.
The woman of
perhaps.
the night. Perfect. That's very. it's a very clean way to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's cool. But that's a bit of the mystery of the story, because we got a little bit of the what you call it, the setup when they were kids and all that, but we don't know what happened to his sister, or
Right.
why he's looking for her.
I just like the fact that it's literally clearly an adult story.
Yeah.
You know, they've realized
Yeah.
it's like, oh, we don't have to do PG. We don't have to do Disney.
Yeah,
You know?
this is about fucking time. I
Yeah.
think that's the only
Weird.
way that they can tell this story. I mean, the story is dark anyway. Like,
Yeah.
what where Cassian is gonna end up. He's a rebel, and he's gonna
Yeah.
he's a rebel. He's gonna die. Dark. So I like the direction where they're going. Like in the first 30 minutes, he's in a brothel, and then he kills two people.
Yeah. Well, two corpos.
Yeah, two fucking corpo assholes. That
Yeah.
decide to fuck with the wrong guy.
Which is kind of a
But
little
yeah.
cyberpunk too, which is
Ooh.
dope.
Ooh.
Because they called the corpos, and I was like, ooh, nice.
Yeah, I saw that
Speaking-
too. I can
Well,
hear you
speaking
now.
of cyberpunk, that's another thing I want to talk about. Cyberpunk has its
Edge
own show.
Runner.
Edge Runner on Netflix.
Yeah.
Which is fucking amazing. Which is
Yes.
amazing. Yeah.
I haven't seen that, but I've seen things about it, and apparently, because of the show, the game Cyberpunk 2077 has had like
Yes.
a huge jump in player base.
Yep.
Which is cool because I guess their game is now fixed and it's not a piece of shit like it was when it came out.
Completely fixed.
Kind of like
I wouldn't say completely fixed, man.
No.
well,
Hold on. What are your gripes?
apparently it's
What are your
better
gripes?
than
Here's my gripe. What they promised was like, oh, every single character will have its own like story, but you still walk through it even in the later editions, and it's like you see like 6 of the same exact dressed person on the street.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's supposed to be like an immersive, like hugely densely populated city, and they just can't do that.
No, it's
But
way too
they
much
did fix a lot of the problems.
they did.
Yeah.
In comparison to how it came out, what was it, like 2 years now?
But you know what? I enjoyed it when it came out. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, yeah, this is buggy as shit. I like Bethesda games, so I mean, there's my fucking background. I'm
So
like,
you're used to the buggy shit,
this isn't a bug. This is a feature.
right? Oh yeah, that's that's how you said it in your mind. Yeah.
Well,
This is the
yeah.
way
I
it's
mean, I
supposed to be.
pre-ordered it. I was excited for it, and you know what? I still enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it too,
I bought
man.
it.
Like, I just drove very slowly throughout the city.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
let it load. Just
Especially
like,
on your bike,
yeah, I'm
because
just like, I'm gonna
it
give
would
it a
just
chance.
appear in front of you. Yeah,
I guess they got more content now too, so I guess it's
Yeah.
a lot more
They have, yeah. The latest patch, 1.6, fixed a lot of things. You know, you
like
can
that
change your
game,
appearance
what's that
now,
game,
and it
Aaron,
doesn't
that you
matter.
fucking hit a blank with the fucking
Wait, I'm sorry. What?
the space fucking exploration game.
Hmm.
Oh, No Man's Sky.
Yeah, it's almost like that where when it released, it was like
Yeah.
Well,
incomplete.
that's an amazing arc redemption.
Yeah,
Like
now
No
it's a
Man's
lot
Sky,
better.
no, it's amazing
No
now.
shit. I
There's
never,
so much shit to do. Yeah.
I never gave it a shot.
What's the thing with like gaming companies these days is all their stockholders or all their people in charge want them to release these uncompleted games like right now, give them out right now. I don't care for shit. Like we want money, and then they release them like early, and it's like yeah, they suck.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like,
That's
they have
Oh
to
no, I
go
mean everybody knows no pre-orders.
yeah.
Yeah. That's.
You see that like now games are gonna cost $70.
Wait, who said that?
They are.
Oh,
Like,
PlayStation started it.
well, yeah. So Modern Warfare 2
Yeah.
that's coming out is $70. All new games coming out are $70.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
What is that about? Why?
Inflation's hitting everything, dude.
Get
It's
the
not
fuck
inflation. It's fucking it's a cash grab.
It's greed.
It's a
That's
cash
what it
grab.
is.
There we
Well,
go.
yeah,
Easy.
obviously.
Corporate
Plain old
fucking
greed.
greed.
Yeah, well, that's what they're gonna say. They're gonna say.
Don't
inflation.
sugarcoat it.
That's bullshit. But
Yeah.
yeah, that whole thing with them kind of rushing Cyberpunk, like everybody knew it wasn't ready. It was buggy as shit.
Yeah.
It was out. I mean, it was out there. Everyone knew it through the grapevine. So, it's no surprise that it didn't do too good when it came out. It was a bunch of crashes.
I'd
funny.
say the one game that I'm actually excited for is going to be Tears of the Kingdom.
No, I haven't heard
Fucking,
this one. What's this? one
Oh,
about?
that's Breath of the Wild, the sequel.
No shit.
Breath of the Wild. Yeah, the Nintendo.
No,
They
kidding.
announced it. It's going to be like 2 years, but still, at least they announced it. Like I think that game's actually going to be good because I
Is
was
it gonna be-
pleasantly surprised by Breath of the Wild. Like it's an amazing game.
What's it gonna be on? Are they gonna be doing their own like a new console, or they're gonna stick to the Switch?
No, they're going to stay on the Switch.
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think they're gonna ride that. They're gonna ride that out for a while.
Excuse me. Just took a huge bong rip, so I'm like fucking. stoned.
If you can't tell,
Ugh.
he came back coughing.
Sounds like a great idea, actually.
It was fun. I was like, walked back in. I'm like, oh shit, I'm doing a podcast. Forgot.
Yeah, that's right. I have to remind you, like, hey, it's only a break.
Plus, I had a little bit of a cocktail, so
No, there we go.
yeah, took a little bit of a break and had one tonight. I'm like, oh shit, feeling all right.
Yeah, that's good. But no, I like Cyberpunk a little bit better now. I started the game over,
Yeah.
from scratch, and
I'm trying to do a stealth run, and it's actually hard finally.
really.
That's what she said.
Yeah. You dick.
Wait, of course. I see where you're going. This fucking guy. Of course. His
Fucking
face.
Nick.
So juvenile.
No,
Fucking dude.
the guy with the bong rip and the cocktail, of course.
Right,
Yeah.
of course. Oh man. But no, I started over, and I was inspired by Edge Runner.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to see what the fuck was that? What does that even mean, bro? This fucking dude. I was inspired by the show Edge Runner. The cyberpunk inspired anime show, which they did a great fucking job.
It is like Cyberpunk brand, right? It's Cyberpunk Edge Runner.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
called Cyberpunk Edge
Okay,
Runner.
yeah.
Yeah. And it's
Well,
in the
the Edge
Cyberpunk
Runner
world.
armor, when you get it, is pretty dope, and then you get some other shit that just clowns on it. But when you get the Edge Runner armor at first, yeah, that shit's pretty dope, and it looks pretty good too.
Yeah,
But I
wanna
like
try
the
that build. I want to try that build. The last build I tried was I was a solo. I was just like a brawler, just like
So yeah, if you're gonna do Edge Runner, I'd recommend a handgun proficiency with it.
yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
because you use the computers, and then you get
Yeah, that's
close
right.
enough to where you have the scope, and you can do like 3.5 times million damage or something if you have
That's
your
fucking
specs
insane.
right.
Yeah, that's what.
But
that's,
like normally you can get through a whole area, except for the big strong guys, with just using your implants.
Yeah, that's what I want to try. The sand devastant. Yeah. where
Yeah.
Everything goes in slow mo. Yeah.
It's,
like Matrix
it's
mode
basically
and shit.
just straight do sex. You're just like, oh,
Gotta use your implants.
Yeah,
This fucking
dude.
guy. Did you play this game?
Yeah,
The
dude.
Cyberpunk.
I played it for a little bit.
Dude.
Yeah,
You played it,
for a little bit, like
Okay.
very little.
but you
Very little.
never finished it.
No.
Okay, you didn't give it the time of fucking
I have
day.
a hard time finishing.
I bet, fucking dude.
Oh, what's the name of the big bad end guy? Adam something.
Adam Smasher.
Adam Smasher. Apparently, if you have
he
it
smashes,
stealth,
like, guys named Adam,
you can literally just
Hmm.
one shot him if you
No
have
shit.
the stealth right. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
the
just-
guy takes about
and it's
30
over.
minutes to fucking
Yeah.
finish him, man.
That's a
Like, yeah,
long
the guy is super
He's
durable.
a bullet
Probably.
sponge
we gotta
for
move
sure.
on to some
Yeah.
fucking.
All right.
All right, but yeah, we got to move on.
Have
What's
you seen
the next?
any of these things, Aaron? Have you seen fucking Rings of Power or
Yes.
House of the Dragon?
House of the Dragon, I'm on like episode 3, but
son
Rings
of
of
a
Power,
bitch.
yeah.
We're gonna have
What-
some
what- so-
matches, though.
So, what are your thoughts between those two? What do you prefer?
What do I prefer? I'm gonna say Lord of the Rings, man. I mean,
Oh, no, what the fuck?
No shit.
Ah.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, me and
Well,
Nick
as
are
I said,
completely against that.
how about this? I'm no. As what I prefer, I only saw 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And I'm still have such a bitter taste of the concluding season of fucking
You gotta
like
go.
season 8 just fucking hurt me.
From Game of Thrones.
From Game of
Yeah,
Thrones.
everyone
I'm just
feels
like,
that way, man.
Everybody fucking hated that shit.
Yeah, nobody liked that shit.
I'm midway into episode 2. I mean,
episode 2, so you're not even like fucking.
Oh no,
that's
he's
what I'm
getting warmed
saying.
up.
So,
Yeah.
Oh,
see,
man. It
exactly.
gets
That's what I'm
fucking
saying.
good.
Okay.
It's gonna
As
get
I said,
so crazy.
As of right now.
It's gonna get nuts.
Okay.
But I mean, also, fuck. The Rings of Power is so drawn out. It's
It is.
just
It's a
like,
fucking
oh
CW
my-
show, dude.
yeah.
It's super drawn out, man. It's super slow. Like there are parts where
Yeah.
I just try to like fast forward a little bit, like 15 seconds. Like they're fucking talking too much. Like, come on, let's get to the point.
Well, I mean, I get off of work and I only have like an hour or 2, so I sit there and I use it to just chill out.
Hmm.
But I'm sitting there. I'm like, oh my god, are you guys fucking serious? Like, get on
Yeah,
with it, please.
No, it's like Shakespearean theater. Honestly, like sometimes I'll find myself nodding off. Like, oh, I'm sorry, what?
yeah.
they're too dramatic and too theatrical. I mean, some people might like that, but that's just not my cup of tea. So yeah.
I just think I was so hurt by Game of Thrones that I'm like, fuck you guys. You know what I
Dude,
mean?
I get it.
It works like as its own story, like really well though. So
It's
and
actually decent.
it's gonna get really fucking crazy if you are familiar with the story that they're telling. It's gonna get fucking nuts.
Yeah.
All this stuff that we're seeing now is just like
It's a setup.
it's prequel to the prequel.
Yeah.
Which isn't really.
Well,
a
I'm
prequel,
I'm
it's
all
just
caught
its
up
own
on everything
story.
except for House of the Dragon. So I think that's what I'm
Yeah.
binging tonight.
Okay, check it out, man. I mean,
Yeah.
what,
Oh,
there's
man.
5 episodes. Yeah, it's 5 episodes in total.
No, I got 3 more. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's good, man. What's his
We're on
face?
6
Matt
now.
Smith.
I think we just hit 6 for House of the Dragon.
Oh, there's 6 episodes.
Yeah.
Oh,
we did
shit.
6.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's his face?
I'm pretty sure my bong's going to tell me that I can't watch all of them.
Listen to your bong.
It's going to say night night. Night night.
Knock the fuck out. Okay. Your bong's Mike Tyson.
Oh, shit, dude. In the 90s.
Shit. Yeah. Right in his prime.
I
Knock
know.
the fuck out. All right. What else?
All
we
right,
gotta
well,
talk about?
fucking. Yeah, what you got?
What else we got here?
What did we really talk about?
Well, yeah. I think we talked about all
We got
that.
Aaron's
except for
point
the
of view.
movie. Yeah. See how they run. That's about it. All right. I think that's
what'd you
it.
think? All right, hold on. What'd you think about the
Yeah.
shit show that was Moonfall?
I never saw Moonfall.
Oh
Oh,
man,
is that
dude.
the one where it's like
It's
a fucking
basically like
alien?
it's like no, it's like it's kind
Is
of
it
yeah,
AI?
it's
It's AI in the
Armageddon.
moon.
It's basically redone
No,
Armageddon.
Moonfall is like
Yeah.
the AI in the moon, right? Where like this alien species, like,
Yeah,
construct-
the
they-
superstructure.
They
Yeah.
made all these planets
Right.
and structures and shit, and yeah, right.
fuck?
With-
I'm
it's
just sitting
with,
there and I'm like, I expected
it's-
every twist. You know what I mean?
It's
I'm
with,
like,
it's with fucking Samuel Tarly from Game of Thrones. And,
Yep.
Yeah, I saw him in there. Yeah.
And fucking Night Owl from Watchmen.
Oh, Wilson.
Yeah.
Whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Wilson something.
And he, like, spoiler, like he you think he dies, but he fucking doesn't. It's like Samuel Tarly is like,
Well, no, I mean, if you know fucking movies, it's like, okay, they're gonna show this to kids. Everyone that went had a family. They had kids
they
in one,
killed off
except
the
for
fat guy.
yeah. Well,
And they let
but
the fucking,
he was
like,
he was the only one without a family.
They let Chris
You know?
Pratt's dad live. It's like
Wait, Chris Pratt was in this movie?
no, fucking
No,
the guy
no,
who plays Night Owl looks like
Oh,
Chris Pratt's dad.
Oh, okay. All right, I gotcha.
It's fucking generic, bland.
So let me get this straight. This is a sci-fi movie.
Yeah,
And-
Sci-fi movie. It's
And
now released on
Sa-
HBO Max.
Okay.
Fucking what?
And the thing is, it's just
And then
extra.
aliens-
Yeah.
An
It's
alien
Halle Berry.
species made all of the planets. Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, it's like an AI.
Yeah.
We made this AI, and the AI like got too smart, and it fucking like came back and saw humans as a threat and fucking killed them.
Oh, I've heard that before.
Yeah.
With so
Well,
but
all life.
our planet
So-
is seeded as these ancestral species seeded this planet. So they like had this war with AIs, and they seeded our planet with their DNA, and then made the moon this like
So spoiler
Fucking
alert, we
structure,
killed
yeah.
ourselves and saved ourselves.
yeah.
Yeah, humans.
And then this AI comes in, this rogue fucking piece that broke off from whatever war they were having. Fucking, and like, it has like a mission to destroy all humans and all life and shit.
Mm.
So
Basically, the moon is a Dyson
it's
sphere.
attracted to it's attracted to the moon because the moon is like a fucking artificial.
It's a Dyson
body.
sphere. Yeah.
Yeah,
No shit.
yeah.
It's
So,
it's not real.
it's not.
It's
real.
so extra. It's so extra.
And then
Gotta be kidding me.
Chris Pratt's dad and Halle Berry are astronauts, and
Yeah, it's a
fucking
shit show.
Samuel Tarly is he
A conspiracy theorist.
He's Randy Quaid of
Yes.
the fucking
Oh.
of the movie. He's literally the Randy Quaid of the
he's
movie. He is the Randy Quaid of the movie because he fucking
Crazy
sacrifices
guy?
himself in the end. He's
No
literally
shit.
Randy Quaid. Oh shit.
No, I'll
It's
skip it.
Independence Day. All over.
No, please
they
do.
took
Please do.
They took bits and pieces of all these fucking movies. They cheated, man.
So I watched this.
Of
movie on the
course
way
they
back.
did.
On the way back from Paris, I watched this movie on
Get the
fucking. On
I'm
my
done.
flight.
All right.
Hey, at least he needed to go to
No,
sleep.
it was
Well,
on the way. It was on the way there. On the way back, I watched that movie on the.
You know what? I'll watch it when I take a
Uh,
bong rip and I'm like bored.
There you go.
At the end of the night, and I like want to watch something to fall asleep to. Like,
I think it's on HBO.
there you
but-
go. That, perfect movie. For
Oh, I
it.
can't believe like I just realized that it's just fucking Randy Quaid all over again.
it is. It is.
This is what Hollywood does. They take
I'm back.
bits and pieces of shit that works, and like all the cliche shit, all the twists and all that stuff, and they just kind of like, all right, let's make one big mosh of movie shit that people are familiar with. 'Cause they're gonna recognize all of this, and we're gonna make a hit.
Oh, and you want to talk about the volume? I'm like, it's like the meme. I've heard you say it a lot. And this point, I'm afraid to ask what it is. But yeah, this one has the volume.
Oh, they used it.
This
You can
I don't.
tell?
Oh, is that?
doesn't know the
It's
volume
all
is.
CGI. I don't even know.
So
That's what
you
I'm
know
saying.
the volume is. The volume is like it's a.
Oh, you mean
it's
the spherical fucking studio
right.
that they project onto?
Digital
Okay.
display.
right,
All
right. Instead of green screen.
No, it's straight
LED.
CGI green. It's straight CGI green screen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ah, that's
Yeah.
lame. All right. Nah, I'm good.
Well, anyways, gentlemen, it's great to talk with you.
Yeah, man.
I'll
Aaron.
hit you up next time in the area.
Yeah.
I'll let you guys get on with your fucking podcasts. I'll keep
Yeah,
watching you.
man.
I'm gonna go talk to my bong and my shot glass.
You do that.
All right, buddy.
Thanks for joining, man. It was
All right.
awesome.
All right, fellas.
Later.
Love you guys.
All right.
See you soon.
Peace.
See ya.
All right.
Fucking
That
guy.
was cool.
What a guy.
right, man. Yeah, we had a nice little visit. All right. I
You
don't
to
think
get
we
a
need these
camera
anymore.
though. Oh yeah, we can take these off. Good thing I had these ready to go.
Yeah.
I
that was
bought
awesome.
these in accident because I was like, I need headphones for my fucking phone.
Yeah.
And I bought the ones with the
Yeah, with the normal audio
3.5
jack in it. Yeah. All right, so
millimeter.
Aaron, that was awesome, man. You were our
Yeah.
first live stream guest.
Yeah, legit guest. Besides, someone calling our phones and be like, "Hey,
Yeah.
what's going on?"
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that was Robbie that did that shit.
Who-
Yeah.
Poor Robbie lost his phone in New York.
What?
His phone is fucking Kevin McAllister right now.
No shit.
Yeah,
Fucking guy, man.
he's using his
Jeez.
iPod from 2015 to communicate with the outside world. Poor guy.
Hey, shout out to Robbie when I visited Boston. Awesome seeing you again, man.
Hey, you sat
cool.
at the same oyster bar I did, so we have a
I-
shared experience.
That's
yeah.
right. I went to that
We have a-
shitty,
we have-
shitty oyster bar.
It's
No,
not
it's super.
shitty,
It's not
really
shitty.
good,
It's a
dude.
historical. It's a
good,
landmark.
it's good.
It's a landmark. Yeah, it's like one of the oldest or
Cottonmouth
first.
now.
Yeah, the first or the oldest oyster bar in Boston.
Oysters.
Yeah, Union. Was it Union Oyster?
Union Oyster House.
Yeah,
yeah.
that was awesome. That was
Um,
awesome. That was cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was good.
Yeah, man. I was out there shooting a commercial. It was a nice, cool experience, man. And then after we wrapped, went to hang out with Robbie, and he got me a little shit faced.
Yeah.
So that
Did
was
you get oysters?
I sure
Get
did.
some clams?
No, actually, no.
You didn't
I,
even get oysters.
no, I didn't get oysters, man, because
Really?
he was wrapping up. He was
Oh,
closing
he's
up, so he gave me some clam chowder,
I get some chowder.
and yeah, I got some chowder and a beer.
Alright. Yeah, we didn't really talk about much of House of the Dragon. Man.
No, we did not talk about Hot D, which is
Hot D.
your
Get that hot D.
which you wrote Hot D versus.
It's a fucking abbreviation. You
Is
fucking
that a
ass.
really? Is that an
Yeah, give me
abbreviation?
that hot D, dude. Come on.
House of the Dragon. Okay, I got it.
That's how you like. Well, what would you do?
Immediately, I see Hot D. I'm like, what the? What are you going to talk about? What have you been watching, man? But no. I just figured that was funny. But I knew what you were trying to say. That was a nice little inside joke for me.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Hey,
Inside.
hey.
Or he.
Oh man. Okay, so I forgot what I was gonna say.
Line.
Yeah, line, please. Script soup, please. Okay, here we go.
Like a,
So we were talking about Rings of Power and House of the Dragon. I like House of the Dragon so far over Rings of Power
oh yeah, 100%,
easily.
120%.
And it's more. I think it's really because House of the Dragon has the formula. They know what works. They know what people are interested in, which is the fucking the drama, man. The
intrigue, the
intense
the-
family feud and the backstabbing and
the morally gray characters,
it's
the human characters, 'cause that's what humans are. Is they're gray people.
it's a soap
Yes,
opera.
Yeah.
Let's just call a spade a spade. It is a soap opera
With
where
great production value.
with fantastic
Yeah.
production value. And it's this whole thing.
Fantasy war.
It's a fantasy soap opera. Because it's like, well, whose side is Corlys going to be on? Is he going to try to backstab the king? And what's Daemon Targaryen up to? And his
Yeah.
crazy antics and all the shit that
His
he's up to.
rogue prince.
Yeah,
Princing.
he's trying to sleep with his niece.
That's a Targaryen thing. though.
Yeah, I guess that is a Targaryen thing.
Aegon the Conqueror married his two sisters.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, you can't.
Like that when Otto is like, oh yeah, well, what if Rhaenyra marries the Prince Aegon?
Right.
And the only thing Viserys is like, well, he just turned 2. Not like that they're siblings. It's like
Right.
it's that
It's the age. The age is the age is the issue.
Siblings.
Right.
He's like,
the family connection doesn't
he's like,
matter.
please.
All right, let's stick with our senses here. Like, come on, man. But no, it's drama. It's a soap opera of like what are they up to? It's a little bit more of the same.
Yeah.
They have that formula. They know what works.
Well, it's also getting like, if you know the story. I bought the book. I want to read it as soon as I get done with all my fucking school books and all the other books. Got to read.
Yeah, you got a lot of reading.
But what I do like to do is I'll read synopses online and I'll
Mhm.
look up events and like about what I'm. I'll spoil myself.
Yeah.
Because I'm so fucking curious.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I'm the same
all
way.
of the stuff that we're seeing now is basically like the prequel of the prequel. So it's basically all this build up and information to what's actually going to go down soon.
Right.
And then once we get it's going to be like a 4 or 5 season series. and we're gonna get into
We'll
this.
see.
Like the Dance of Dragons is gonna be it's gonna be bloody as shit. There's some seriously fucked up stuff.
Right.
Like
Because we know
Yeah.
from history
a lot of like
of
brutal
the shit that's happened before.
Yeah, a lot of brutal things are gonna happen.
Right.
A lot of battles, the decimation of House Targaryen, like the destruction of all the dragons.
What's the black?
Spoiler
What
alert.
the what's that battle? The Blackwater
What?
Rebellion or
No, so this is before that. Like later on, there's the Blackfire Rebellion, which is
That's right.
The bastard of son of one of the kings.
Yeah.
Becomes Blackfire,
Mm-hmm.
and then switches. Yeah, it's a whole different. That's later on in the. We're like
That's much later on.
We're in like the 100 years after the conquest,
right?
About 175 before.
But there are talks that there's
Game
going to
of
be
Thrones.
major time jumps.
Well, yeah, there has been, but we're still in that same realm of
Right.
timeline.
Okay. For now.
The next, I think we're going to go through one more major time jump because now we got introduced to these teenage versions of the character, like the children.
Right.
And then we're going to see the adult ones
Right.
who have their dragons and have their children.
Right.
So we'll see Rhaenyra and company as like grandparents and shit like that.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool.
And then,
I'm ready for it.
It's a huge civil war that decimates like all the like basically fucks up the whole family and shit.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people die, a lot of Targaryens die, a lot of dragons die.
So right.
Yeah.
So this is the difference, major difference between I guess somewhat between the original Game of Thrones and the House of Dragons is because in the original Game of Thrones there was this ominous thing. There was this antagonist or more than one.
It was
but you knew that something was
the apocalypse.
Something right. There wasn't something bad was coming.
Yeah.
Winter.
While
coming.
All these other little things were going on.
All this other little shit was happening, but there was like and the whole big thing was like, hey, all these squabbles and all this shit and you guys fighting over the crown, that's small potatoes. We've got a bigger fucking issue.
Right.
That's coming and we better prepare. And that was what the Starks were trying to warn everybody about.
Yeah.
So that was what was cool about the original Game of Thrones because there were a lot of layers. There was a lot of shit happening.
There's a lot of mystery that wasn't like relying on mystery box to
right.
get you there.
Right. In this one, it's much smaller.
Yeah.
It's contained.
And
you don't have a big villain.
Yeah, the story's been told too. So like
right.
Game of Thrones, we had like the story.
It was developing.
It was incomplete.
Right. It was developing.
Incomplete, but now we have a story that's been told.
Yeah.
So we got that, and it's cool to see, where we kind of get an idea of how this great family kind of like went from this peaceful period of like decades and going into like this great opportunity to really cement their house and have this long-lasting legacy,
and they fuck it up,
and then it just gets completely fucked because of circumstances and bad luck,
Yeah.
And so infighting, and it's a lot of regicide and infighting and shit, and there's like people are like, oh, like it's boring or whatever. You might see that online, people talking like that, but really it's just setting up the fucking insane like battles and stuff we're gonna get like dragon on dragon fighting, and stuff.
Yeah. That's cool.
Like we only saw a little bit of that when the Night King had his undead Viserion, and they were fighting in the air, but it was all blacked out and fucking. They're like,
that was awful.
They're like, hey, you know how we can get around production costs? We just make everything so dark you can't see it.
That was awful. That you know what? Okay, so I remember watching this specifically, and from like the technical eyes, there was like when like there's like what's clipping. In like technical terms when it comes to like editing and footage, right? So when it's like so dark that you can see bad pixelation in the footage, and that's what I saw. And I was like, who approved this shit? Like, didn't anybody like check proof all of this before it went to broadcast? Like, there was bad clipping. Like, it was so dark that I can see like when you see like a bad render on like CGI, or like you're watching YouTube and you see the pixelation, that's what I saw. That was super bad. But yeah, man, it was a shitty Game of Thrones last season was shitty anyway, so not surprised. So par for the course.
But yeah, where were we at on that?
So we were talking about House of Dragon versus the Rings of Power.
So the production, is that what I was getting at? I think.
Yeah, we were talking about the production, and we were about to
in the story too.
the story,
like the containment and like how it's
right,
yeah,
right. So yeah, so it's
jump.
It's very family focused.
Yeah.
There isn't like a big villain that you can point
Yeah.
to and say, hey, this is, this is the ominous thing, this is the apocalypse. It's more about the destruction of a family and the infighting of a family, and it leading to a civil war, and it fucks up the entire kingdom basically.
Yeah, we get a couple little announcements about 10,000 ships, which is about the Princess Nymeria of somewhere. I forget where she's from, but she's the one who goes off to Dorne. She escapes Old Valyria. Like they're having a conflict, and she takes her. She was like a big naval commander. And that's where Arya gets the name Nymeria for her direwolf. Is from that character. So this tale of like a warrior princess. And she's the one that goes off and basically founds Dorne, the kingdom of Dorne. I believe. I believe that's what. Maybe I'm probably wrong, but we're getting that spinoff.
Yeah.
And that's
Dorne is an interesting.
But that story takes place in the time of Old Valyria as it existed before the Doom. So we might get some Old Valyria going.
That would be fantastic. And then I still want to see Aegon the Conqueror.
We are getting a Jon Snow series.
Wait, what?
We're getting a Jon Snow series, which is supposed to be a sequel to Game of Thrones.
That's happening.
It's happening. Yeah, it's as far as I can see. All sources.
I don't know how I feel about that.
It's like when you do the 8-ball, it's like,
one of those things. Like where you turn it around and it's like might happen.
It's probably happening.
I don't. To be honest, I don't know how I feel about that. Sometimes it's good to leave characters alone, man.
I think okay, hold on. So remember that petition that came out after season 8? It was like, we want to redo the whole season and all that. Like a bunch of people signed it.
Right, yeah, I remember that.
HBO does see the value in those fans, and they're like, oh, but what if we just kind of like start doing some stuff and make a cohesive unit? Because that's what Martin wants to do, is make a cohesive universe. And
sometimes doing too much is.
We'll see.
I don't know.
We'll see how House of Dragon goes. I think it's going to go really well, and if it goes really well,
listen,
then exploring older stories like
older stories,
10,000 ships sounds good.
That's fine.
So hopefully we'll see some of that.
If you're that's fine. How they're doing it with the House of the Dragon and talking about the Targaryens, and I still want to see Aegon the Conqueror, man. Like I'm still stuck on that. Yeah. If they go back to that, they talk about Old Valyria. I heard about that too, which would be fantastic. I mean, cool. I've seen him play The Witcher. I mean, the white hair works for him, so it can work. If he's Aegon, that's perfect casting. Yeah. I mean, he looks like a conqueror. But I want to see that kind of stuff, man. I don't know about leaving Game of Thrones. Yes, it was a shitty season, but don't try to fix it. Don't try to stretch it out even more than it has to be.
I don't know what they're going to do for Jon Snow, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Aegon Targaryen, the 6th of his name or whatever.
Is he the last Targaryen now?
He is, yeah.
Technically, right?
Oh, as far as we know, yeah.
Yeah, that line is just, kind of reduced down to him, so.
Yeah.
That should be interesting, but I don't know. I think they should just leave it alone, man. That story's done,
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
But in any case, moving on to Rings of Power, just to kind of wrap it up. I like some parts of it.
It reminds me of the Warcraft movie.
But it's too, you said that. Yeah. I remember you said that.
It's like, you're like, oh, this is so fucking cool to see like all these things on the screen.
But it sucks.
And then you're like, oh. But that kind of is shit.
Shitty. Yeah. It's kind of shit.
It's kind of shitty.
Yeah.
It's too clean. It's too plasticky.
The dialogue is not working for me.
The props and like the the wardrobe, like they're not realistic. It doesn't seem like the Weta Workshop.
It's too polished.
Had spent 2 years linking chainmail together. It didn't seem like that kind of value.
No, man.
Yeah. They spent so much money on this. It's like
400 million.
And I heard that I was going into like some of these things, and like apparently like Peter Jackson was contacted, and he was like, well, I'm not going to get involved unless I can see the script.
Right.
And they're like, oh, we'll get back to you. And they just ghosted him.
They ghosted Peter Jackson.
It goes to Peter Jackson.
That's the dumbest fucking. That's the dumbest thing.
And dude, it really reminds me of when Game of Thrones came around because these showrunners haven't really done shit. They're young as fuck,
right?
And that's what happened with Game of Thrones with Dan and Dave,
right?
They're like young writers who hadn't really done shit,
yeah.
And all of a sudden had these big
major properties,
yeah,
right.
And it just, I don't know, yeah.
They did. Sometimes they just don't know how to handle it properly, man. Yeah. Watch out. Oh, let me just move this a little bit. I don't want to unplug it.
No, we're good.
Okay. Sometimes they just don't know how to handle it properly, man. Yeah. You should talk to the guy that made the first one fucking great. Well, the first 6.
Yeah.
He made 6 movies.
Well, he's
in this world.
He saved The Hobbit from fucking destroying itself because
right. That's true.
Because Del Toro had creative differences.
That's right. Well, obviously, I mean, Del Toro's a different mind.
They're already done with pre-production,
right?
So excuse me. With Lord of the Rings, Jackson was in charge of all the pre-production and all that development.
Right.
So he came into The Hobbit with like, oh, I gotta rescue this project here, and like that's why it was.
Yeah, he was ready
CGI
for it. I mean, he's had. I mean, if you count up the amount of years that he spent doing the first 3 Lord of the Rings,
but if he had the time he did for Lord of the Rings, if they had just brought on Jackson
from the beginning,
it
would have been smooth,
a lot better.
Yeah, much smoother, much smoother. Yeah, you can see some of the,
but to not even like bring him on or even consult him, but like he's like, yeah, I need to see the script. Like he's not gonna do this shit blind. He's
no,
like,
of course not. But that just goes to show how much they didn't have their shit together.
Yeah, and this is like $1 billion franchise that they're gonna like do.
Man, I don't know.
And the Tolkien estate is only letting them do the appendices.
You told me, and which I thought was ridiculous.
It's not the Silmarillion; it's the appendices of the books.
Right.
So they can't touch anything.
Which is only the second age.
They and there's some like references to the first age here and there, but they can, and like basically it's just a bunch of references. So they're filling in a bunch of timelines, but they're also condensing timelines and shit. Like they're talking like there's rumors that they're gonna do the whole Balrog awakening in Moria, which doesn't happen until the third age. And now it's gonna happen in the second. It's just like they're condensing.
Yeah, they're moving stuff around. That doesn't make sense.
And
I don't know.
Like they're not like where's Galadriel's
are they even going to talk about the Cimmerals? Are the Cimmerals going to play a part in this?
Well, they just did talk about them.
Oh, they did. Okay, all right. So
with the Mithril,
did they?
Yeah,
and the recent episode, because I haven't seen the recent
that
episode.
That Mithril comes from part of the light of one of the Silmarils.
Okay, but
that's why they need Mithril to like save their light.
Okay, I remember they touched on that when they were talking about
there's an Elven lord that fought a Balrog.
Was it they're talking about the hammer that made the Cimmerals? Remember when that episode?
Yeah, Feanor's hammer.
Yeah, that Feanor's hammer. That's right, and they showed it.
Yeah.
That's a nice little history callback.
Yeah,
because that's a big deal. The Cimmerals go back to the first age with Morgoth. And that was something that mattered because Morgoth took the Cimmerals, and then there was this whole big thing. I forget the Luthien and
Baron
and Luthien, and he had to go get the Cimmerals and all that. That was a whole big mission. That was actually an awesome story.
Arendelle, who was Elrond's father,
mm-hmm.
who was the one who went on the mission to get the Silmaril from the Undying Land. So like Elrond is just like the direct. He's like
the lineage
kid of. And his brother Elros was the one that founded the Númenórean kingdom.
Yeah,
because he chose to be mortal man.
Yeah,
and then Elrond chose to be an elf because he's half elven.
Yeah,
because his dad was Arendelle the Mariner.
Yeah,
and his mom was an elf.
See, now that's cool. Yeah. See, again, this all of this kind of goes, it weaves together. So the fact that they're kind of restricting it to just a particular age, and you can't go any further.
You see a painting in the tower in Numenor. I don't know if you are on the episode yet, but you see a painting depicting that moment where they choose to be.
I did not see that yet.
Where they choose to be man or elf, and you see Elrond and Elros together in the painting, and it's like it's like a painting version of their actors. It's
okay, interesting.
And it's like Elrond, the guy who plays Elrond, is also the dude who played young Ned Stark in the flashbacks in Game of Thrones.
Holy crap, you are absolutely right. I just clicked.
I just see him all the time.
That's right. That just clicked.
Now it ends.
Holy crap, he's in both.
Yeah.
Oh man, interesting. Okay. All of a sudden, I'm thinking about a lot of Sean Bean memes because he was in both.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense.
It is funny.
Yeah, that is very funny. Shit. Okay. But yeah, you get my point though. It just doesn't make sense to restrict it to this,
yeah.
to just that storyline. Like, if you're going to talk about all of it.
Well,
it
they're also
should be-
like they're condensing a lot of stuff going on too. So
Yeah.
we'll see. There are some cool things I like.
I like Numenor.
Yeah.
I like, if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, you know about the similarity
It's a little bit
and
too
all that.
pristine though. It's like it needed.
That's exactly how that's how I would envision Numenor, because it looked so goddamn cool.
Yeah.
Like that's like the foundation of men. That's like the great city of men, where it came from. And then it, of course, what happens. It gets...
Eru Iluvatar says, "All right, you guys broke the whole #1 rule that we gave you."
Comes
guys.
crashing down.
Our Farazan is like that the fucking warlocky looking dude, the beard guy.
Right. Yeah.
He's the one that like breaks the vow of man with the fucking Ainur and the gods.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, you don't go here.
Yeah.
You can chill here.
Right.
But you don't go here.
You don't go over there.
And our Farazan's like, fuck you. We're gonna go there.
Right.
And then Eru, the one creator of all life, is like, you know what? I'm gonna step in like one of the rare occasions and like sink your whole island.
One of the rare occasions that
the creator of all life is like,
never mind. Hold on, but never mind Sauron and all those other occasions. Yeah. But this time it's like, oh, you guys broke a rule. Now we're flooding this whole damn thing. This whole kingdom is gone.
Well, they do. There's a theory that he did intervene with Gollum on the bridge of the Mount Doom, where he's dancing around.
Yeah,
and he falls backward. In the book, he falls backwards.
Yeah.
In the movie, he gets pushed by Frodo.
Right. That's
in the book, he falls backwards. Mm-hmm. And there's a theory that Eru Iluvatar intervened there. Where
the push.
Gave him a little push.
Okay. He can sink an entire kingdom, but he just pushes Gollum. Yeah, okay. That makes perfect sense.
Well, come on. Like, that is kind of like on par with a fucking sadistic god. That's like,
right.
You have to be a sadist to be like, I'm going to create life and rule over it.
Right. Yeah. It makes perfect sense. That's true. And
Gandalf's like, oh, heavens, no. Have you seen those videos of this guy who does like deep fakes? And he's an impressionist who impersonates
Gandalf
and other characters, and then deep fakes their.
I have not seen this.
It's great.
I have not seen this.
It's like and he roasts Rings of Power.
I haven't seen the latest episode of Rings of Power. However, I want to ask you. Eventually, they have to show Sauron.
Well, right now they're giving us like a fucking who is it type of scenario where like because those who know the lore know that Sauron inserts himself into the Elven society as this character named Anatar.
Right.
And so we're getting all these new characters and they're compressing the timeline so that this theory that like one of these new characters, like whether it's Halbrand or the Stranger,
right,
or someone else, might be Sauron.
Right.
Like,
and I've been watching up until now, and I'm just waiting for that Leo DiCaprio moment. Like, is that him?
Every episode, though, we're getting like it's like misdirect. It's like the last episode was like, oh no, it can't be the Stranger because now he's like being a nice guy.
Right.
But then this last one that I watched, you haven't seen this new one yet, right?
Right, I haven't seen it.
But remember, like in the prologue to Lord of the Rings and in the films where when Sauron would like smash somebody with his mace, it would like do this blast.
Right.
This blast field.
Right. It's just take out like a couple hundred people at the same time.
Latest episode, the Strangers like the little fucking hairy foot hobbits or whatever, they're like getting attacked by these hyenas and shit.
Yeah.
Or something. And the Stranger comes up and like defends them, and he like yells at them and like throws them and whatever. They come back and he does this like Hulk smash on the ground. It does the same effect as Sauron's mace does when he hits like somebody and does a little blast. Like
that could be a Maya thing.
Well, it could also be like a misdirect.
Yeah,
like,
it could
make you think like, oh, it looks similar.
Right.
So it make you think it's like Sauron.
Yeah.
Right. But who knows? But then like
because the idea is like Sauron's supposed to be like this beautiful, looking elf.
Yeah.
You know, like you would
But
never
like,
guess he's
I
a
think
Dark
also
Lord.
like the idea like for this series that because they're changing so much to fit their
Right.
new narrative
Yeah.
that they're gonna go from a different direction.
Right.
Than an
Right.
elf.
They
Yeah.
might do an okie doke.
That's why they gave you like the elf dude, dark elf dude, like runs the orcs.
That's right.
Andor. He's like a dark elf.
That's right.
Yeah.
Was this the first time they introduced a dark elf?
Yeah,
I think so.
yeah.
Right? Yeah, yeah. This is the first time they actually
And he's
introduced.
like, I wish you could feel the sun as I do, and like, I think that was in the newest episode.
Okay.
One of the orcs is like out in the sun meeting him, and like Ador's just like basking in the sunlight.
Yeah.
And those orcs, I guess, can't.
They can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So
they're hidden.
So
and
he's
all that.
definitely Elven. But he's not Sauron. Because
I'm just waiting for it, man.
in this new episode,
It's called Rings of Power, so
this-
obviously.
But in this new episode, he gets the dissenting humans from the Southlands to join his cause. And
That's right. Okay.
The one who pledges like their loyalty, or whatever. He's like, "Oh, you are Sauron, right?" And he gets all pissed off. He's like basically saying no, like,
Yeah.
but I work for him or whatever. Basically, you get that vibe.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not Sauron. And then people say like Halbrand might be Sauron or whatever. Like, who knows? It's all like
Yeah, they're playing around
They're
with
gonna
it.
jerk the chain until like the end of the season,
Right, because they know people
It's
are
gonna
waiting for it.
end on the finger point,
The reveal.
there it is.
Yeah. Oh,
And then
that's
credits, See you in a year, you know,
Shit.
or 2 years. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. Because I'm just waiting for it. I'm just searching for it.
Yeah.
But in any case, man, it's just it's a slow burn with Rings of Power, man. It's very.
Yeah, they're trying to introduce too much at the same time, and it's lagging.
Yeah.
And it's like you don't need to.
And there's some things that just don't fit, you know.
Yeah, they're trying to do too much in such a short period of time. It's like, well, you know.
Yeah, and I kind of get it because look at the source material. It's like
they also don't have
kind
the
of
source
jumping
material
around.
either. They only have access to like such a little bit of it.
Right, so they
because
have to make up.
The Tolkien estate's like, nah, you can only use this much. And it's like
That doesn't make any sense to me.
I think if I was in charge of that project and they're like, we couldn't get what we wanted, and they're like, no, you can only use this little bit of amount of material, I'd be like, well, I guess we're not doing this then.
Because it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, like we'll move on.
Literally doesn't make any
sense. Something else.
It's a disservice.
We'll do something else. Yeah.
Yeah, right. You just come up with something completely different.
Let's not spend $1 billion on this. That's probably not going to work.
Yeah, man. You just got like one hand tied behind your back and you're blindfolded. Like it just it's
Seems
stupid.
like a bad executive decision. It's like
it's stupid.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, that's all we can do.
They're really counting on this, so we'll see.
I mean, I hope they get a return on investment. So,
what else do we got?
All right, so we've hit up all the important points here. The last thing we've got is see how they run. I have not seen this.
Oh yeah, see how they run.
You saw
this was a let's see how they run.
Okay, you're gonna see how they run. You're gonna see.
I'm gonna see how they run. No, so I just went out to see a movie with my grandpa, and this time, usually I'll just like have something I want to watch.
Yeah,
I was like, you know what? I'll just go based on like a little bit like audience score or whatever, and
okay.
see what's good. And I was like, oh, it's like 70-something%.
Right.
Good reviews,
Yeah.
drama, like comedy.
Yeah. I heard about this
thriller comedy.
Yeah, I heard about this. I mentioned this, I think, in one of our first podcasts, where I saw a trailer for this, and it looked interesting.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
I remember.
I forgot about it.
Yeah, I remember talking about this, and it just seemed like one of those ensemble, movies like Knives Out.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like a whodunit type of thing, and it was surrounding a theater, a play, or whatever the case is.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't seen it, but it just looked interesting. So
yeah, it was fun. It's got Adrian Brody, Sam Rockwell.
Yeah, I like Sam Rockwell, man. He's a good
not
actor.
quite ensemble. There's a few names.
There's a few names, okay.
But it was fun. It was like a parody.
David Oyelowo is in this as well, right?
Yeah, it's like a parody of like whodunits in a sense.
Okay,
it's
it's a parody about whodunits.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would go further to say it's a parody of parodies.
A parody of parodies.
Because it's very
meta,
very in your face. It's like, yeah, we're making fun of this shit.
Yeah.
And
they're not taking themselves seriously.
Yeah. But also like telling
they're making fun of
the same time. Yeah.
They're making fun of the genre.
Yeah.
Which is I like it.
Yeah.
Because it's different. Because that genre has been done already.
Yeah.
So making fun of this type of genre is something new.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I get it. That's cool.
But yeah, it's definitely got like the Knives Out or the Clue or the
the
standard whodunit vibe. It's very It's a movie you can just go and like watch and have a good time.
Right.
It's
Just a fun kind of thing.
Good
Okay.
humor, some like really good like dad humor in it too. It's
Yeah.
like from like the least expecting person you would think. It's
Yeah.
just like
Okay.
the female constable officer is just like
Yeah.
making these like stupid jokes the whole movie.
Yeah, that's what's her face?
Swarzy
Ronan. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a
Awesome.
bunch of, wow, some of these people need to work on their headshots. Okay.
No, it's honestly it's a decent cast.
No, it was fun though.
Decent
it was
cast.
great. Yeah, I had
Yeah.
a good time. It's
Okay.
quick. It's quick. It's like an hour and a half. So
Oh, okay. All
Yeah.
right. Yeah, movies like
You're
that.
in,
They
you're
don't
out.
have to
Yeah.
draw them out.
Yeah.
So yeah, that seems fun. Okay, cool. So you saw that. I saw it's very unexpected. Me and my girlfriend were watching this. Yeah, we were watching this over the weekend. It's a Netflix movie. It came out a couple months ago. Well, actually, I think around June or something like that. It's called RRR.
Yeah, it's the Bollywood movie, right?
Yes, it is a Bollywood movie. It is goddamn amazing, man. It is an epic fucking film, man.
Nice.
I don't know where to begin with this. First of all, it's super long. It's like over 3 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like Avengers type status thing, but it pulls you in and you want to keep watching. Like it's not a boring 3 hours. It's legitimate, like awesome, story that's moving and you get involved with these characters.
Okay.
So little preface here. Of course, it takes place in India, pre the country becoming India. So this takes place back in like
So it's still a British rule and shit.
British
Yeah.
role. Well, they just got there, and
Oh,
and
okay.
they're colonizing. They're in the process of actually colonizing. So it's that story, and it is very very interesting. So the Indian society that's here are tribes. So you have all these sections, and they're kind of governed, by certain tribes. So it's very tribal, and they're very close knit. And then you have the British coming in and beginning to take over and setting up, governors for certain sections and things
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
But from the very beginning, the movie like starts off just running, like it pulls you in, and you're like, "Holy shit, did that just happen?" Like it's kind of brutal.
Yeah.
So it sets up the tone immediately,
Okay.
like brutally, and like, oh, this is about that. This is about like Colin. Oh, it's one of those. Like it's kind of uncomfortable. Like shit, this is kind of an ugly history thing.
So it goes quick.
At the beginning, just
Okay.
like at the beginning, it's a like it has this nice setup, and then it gets brutal, and you're like, shit. Okay, I wonder where this is going. And you get the idea. Great filmmaking, great cinematography, awesome CGI.
Nice.
There's a lot of animals in this film, and they're all CGI. And it looks great. So it's revolves around these two characters. And one is an Indian man that works with the British government. So he becomes like a cop in the British government. So he's like a bit of a traitor in a way, but he feels like they're the new way of society.
Right.
So he kind of like jumps ship and he joins them. And then there's another character, the other protagonist, and he's a tribal guy. And he's representing a tribe, and he's going against, like he's part of the rebellion. And he's going against these people that are, these strangers coming from nowhere, thinking that they can take over, and kill whoever they want, and then you kill tribes and all this stuff. And they do show a lot of brutality on how so it's based on actual historical events. And these two characters actually existed.
Okay.
And the situations actually existed. However, a lot of the orchestration, like these two main protagonists never met each other. So, but they did exist. So this is kind of a what if they would have met, and what if they kind of clashed.
Right.
And it is a very very interesting story. I'm not going to spoil it because it will be
No, it sounds good. I want to watch it.
It would be a disservice if I spoil it. But it's super super interesting, and the RRR actually does stand for something. It's called Rise, Roar, Revolt. That's what the 3 R's stand for.
Okay.
They won't say that in the title. I don't know why, but that's what the 3 R's
Alright,
stand for.
yeah.
But man, it's a fucking ride, man. Like you thoroughly entertained from the beginning to the end. Like it's just, and I was amazed. I was
Yeah.
like, fuck. It must have taken them at least maybe 2 to 3 years to orchestrate this, edit it, and shoot it just perfectly because it keeps you going. You are sitting there just thoroughly entertained.
So
man.
it goes quickly, the 3 hours. Like it's pretty
No,
fast.
you feel it.
Oh, okay.
You definitely feel the 3 hours. That's for fucking sure. Because after a while, you're like, fuck, this is long, man. But
Yeah.
I still want to see the story. Like it does pull you in
Okay. Yeah.
because you do want to see where
It's not like
what's
it's not
happening.
a drag, but
it's
like,
not a drag. And that's what
I might
surprised me.
start tonight. We'll see.
That's what surprised me the most. Like, yeah, you can see it in parts. You can see like maybe half of it and continue tomorrow. But no, it's not a drag. It does. You are interested and invested in these characters. And what it did is that me and my girlfriend were watching it, and we're just kind of like we're picking sides because there's two, like I said, two protagonists, and they're vastly different. They're like yin yang. So, she's kind of taking up one side of the character, and I'm taking up the other side of the character. I'm like, this guy's badass. She's like, well, I like this guy. He's not, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. Great action scenes, man. There's this one particular scene where the cop guy, the Indian guy that kind of joins the British forces. So there's this protest at this police station, right? And there's a bunch of like the natives, and they're protesting this fake government that's there, and there's a bunch of like British people, and they're like, get out of here, like they're protesting and shit, right? And there's this whole big gate, and then somebody throws a rock, and it hits like the commanding officer, right? Right, and this guy is like, somebody get that man. And then the protagonist, right? And this is the introduction to the protagonist. Like, this is the first time seeing him. Like, and I called him Super Cop the entire time. And he's, he takes it upon himself. Like, nobody does anything, right? But he takes it upon himself, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna get him. He just like takes his hat off, he puts it down, he takes his baton, just a stick. This guy does, and I'm talking about like Jackie Chan martial arts type shit. This guy like jumps over the fucking gate, goes into the crowd, and the crowd is roughly about 10,000 people in the crowd. Like there's 10,000, like it's massive.
Yeah.
He goes in there, and there's this amazing action scene where he's batoning people in the face, like getting through the crowd, and it's like hardcore, and he's trying to get to this guy, and this guy, he's like at first laughing. He's like, he's not going to get through this crowd. But when he's making his way through and he gets a little closer and closer, the guy that threw the rock, he's like, oh shit, well, I need to start running now because he's actually getting through this crazy crowd. So, and then it starts off this entire chase scene. And this dude, and it shows you, it's a great introduction to this character because it shows you how much of a goddamn badass he is. And he's just beating people up his entire way through. And you think he's not going to make it. At some point, it's like, like in the Matrix when Neo's like surrounded by all the Mr. Smiths and they surround him, like that scene. And then he like takes a pole and he's like breaking out and he's like beating them up with the pole. Exactly like that, but less CGI.
Okay.
So, but yeah, man, it's an awesome movie. It has a little bit of a love story in it, has like friendship in it, betrayal, it has everything. It's honestly a Bollywood epic. Hollywood should learn from this, how to make like an epic movie with all the right ingredients. This is what that has. I was entertained. It was a nice little surprise. I didn't think it was
kind
gonna
of
be
like
that good.
blew up for a little bit. I heard about it like from a lot of like different like areas.
Yeah.
Nice.
And that's what I did too. Like I heard like people saying that it's a great film. Like I did not hear bad things about it.
Right.
And then when I saw it pop up on Netflix, I was like, hey, let's just watch this tonight. And we watched it and we were like, shit, we didn't expect that. It's fucking great. Yeah, I'm probably gonna watch it again. Spend another 3 hours.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, so I give it 4 out of 5 stars.
Sick.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
it's just a little too long, man. that's
3 hours.
that's why. But yeah, so yeah, that kind of wraps up my movie talk. So
Cool.
yeah,
I
man.
think that's pretty much it.
I think that's it. We don't have anything
Not
for
much going on right now.
as far as releases or anything like that. I don't. Yeah, I don't have much, man. I don't have much for what's coming up. I think we talked about that at the beginning with the news. Wednesday Adams is coming up pretty soon. That's essentially it. That's what I'm looking forward to. So yeah, man.
Yep. I think that's
That wraps it up nicely.
wraps it up for me.
Okay, cool. All right, guys. Until next time.
See ya.
Peace.